You already got to like set up where it's streaming straight on YouTube and everything. Will we even be able to get chat? Bro, you know what's funny? The dude that I was arguing with, I put him on timeout.
Welcome to YingYang Sports Part 2, live episode 1. How are we feeling today, Joel?
Feeling good. What about you?
I am chilling and grilling. Gotta give you a second. I'm going to check on the audio booth, but we're all good. First of all, the first thing I would like to get into is the Detroit Tigers win 8-0 in Game 1 of the doubleheader today. Joel, what are your thoughts about that? We are now at a 500 record. We were 4 games under a few games ago. We now are looking so much better. How do we feel about that?
What's your call? Maybe if the Tigers keep performing like this, maybe I'll decide to tune into a game, and maybe Ryan Armani will decide to go by Bally Sports. But what you call? Maz had the game on during the show, and he was telling us about like how Matt Vierling has been going off for the past 2 games. So it's like,
yeah, Vierling hit another home run today. Huge home run.
Won the last game for us. What was that? The game on Sunday or Monday? I can't even remember the last time they had played before the last game.
Yep, and shout out to Justifan, Jay Kuzin71, and Alan W. for hanging out with us. You guys are the best for tuning in.
Yeah, no, I appreciate y'all for sure.
Game 2 is going on right now as well, and the Tigers are up 1-0. Akil Badu, what are you doing in my car? Is scored, hit a sacrifice fly to give us the lead in the first inning. So maybe the City Connects are the answer. I wanted to throw that out there. 5-1 in the City Connects. If we win this game, we'll be 6-1 in the City Connects. How are we feeling about that? Should we just be rocking the City Connects all the time?
What you call? I'm a believer in, like, I won't say not what's that word? The S word, superstitions. I'm not a too big believer in superstitions, but I do kind of believe in like tradition. So if you started a tradition of winning in your City Connects for like to start the rebuild, because you got to look at it. We're like, this is like a whole new look for the Tigers, and it's a perfect time now we got a whole new uniform. So it's like if we just can just use this to be our, I guess, the start of our new beginning, we might as well just keep rocking these uniforms and then eventually turn into making the everyday uniforms now. Maybe in like a couple years, like 2-3 years, end up having that as the alternate. Because people were hating on the City Connect, the Motor City jerseys. They actually are fire to me, like, in my opinion.
I like them other than the black pants. Shout out Just a Fan. Need Red Wings to wear City Connect jocks. That would be exciting to see, that's for sure. I wouldn't think we'd see it, but we might hear about it. That would be epic. So we're going to move in to our first topic, and we're going to give you the Lions, the NFL's king. We're going to move to some hockey later, some NBA, but we're going to start with NFL's king for a reason. And we have discussed on our shows, Woodward Sports. I don't know about yours, on our Woodward Sports shows. I'm on Big D Energy. He's on Amani and Edwards. On my show, we have discussed how big of a joke PFF can be. So we have made our own top 5 list for running backs in the entire league. We're quickly going to go through them. Not going to waste a lot of time with telling you who it is, but we are going to take the time to go through it. Sorry, my dad texted me.
No, you good.
I got to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So I'm gonna go first. Let's you go first. You throw it out there because I haven't seen your list yet. You haven't seen mine. I haven't seen yours. So let's see yours.
Yeah, no, let me go to my notes app real quick.
All right, I'll just go because I got mine up right now.
Yeah.
So number 1 is CMC. Number 2 is Jonathan Taylor. Number 3 is Derrick Henry. Number 4 is Jahmyr Gibbs, and number 5 is Saquon. Go and run with your list.
No, you don't want to give any. You don't want to give any
then we'll get into it after.
All right, what you call it? See, I went a completely different route. My list is CMC 1, Derrick Henry 2, Kyron Williams 3, Bijan 4, Gibbs 5. Honorable mention, Saquon Barkley.
Who's the one that I didn't have that you had?
I have Kyron Williams and Bijan Robinson on there. Oh, you had Bijan on yours?
Oh, you had Kyron Williams. See, that's such a sleeper. I had him in my fantasy league last year. He's so nasty.
Yeah, I had Kyron on mine.
I see. I think Kyron is great, but I just the scheme really. But you could say that about CMC at the same time. You could say
that about any running back.
That's true. I just think Saquon is a little bit more of a bell. I can't even say that now because I don't even know because the Giants' offense wasn't great last year with stacked boxes. This is also predictions for next year. This is at the post 2024 season. So we're predicting what we think. I just think Saquon on the Eagles is going to have a power offense behind him. I'm high on Jalen Hurts, not as high. No one is as high as I am on Jalen Hurts. I think he's better than Lamar Jackson, but that's for a different debate. And
wow.
So why'd you leave Saquon off?
I let Saquon. He gets injured like way too much. So I don't know. It probably might change. Like I always felt a lot of the injuries he had, he like probably stayed out like 2-3 games longer than he probably needed to because he was playing for the Giants for so long, and most of the times they weren't competing for anything. But honestly, like I said, he just was injured too much for me to really think for like the way I based this list. I was more going so like who I think is gonna have like top 5 production in the league for this year, and so based off how much he gets injured and like how much he misses games, I had to say like he probably won't be able to make it. Yeah, he probably won't be able to make it into the top 5. But I had him honorable mention because I think he probably will if he does play healthy. If he does play the whole year healthy, he's definitely going to be top 5 in my opinion.
I agree with that. I could see Saquon getting hurt. He's kind of treads coming off the tires. Same thing I think about Josh Jacobs. And the list that what sparked this conversation as well was the top 5 NFC North running backs. Why? There's a lot of hype on Gibbs. Do you believe he's truly the best running back in the NFC North, even though Aaron Jones has had more of a bell cow role for longer period of time?
I'm honestly not. If we making a discussion who is going to be like first, we can only do it for the 1 year that Gibbs has been in. So the 1 year Gibbs has been in, he has been better than Aaron Jones. And then based off the future and the potential, I feel that he's going to be better than Aaron Jones. So I'm crossing that out the list. He's better than Aaron Jones. The only one you could probably even think to say, in my opinion, is what you call Josh Jacobs. And even still, I'm not
I think
really
it treads off the tires with him as well. I think he's...
no, Josh Jacobs not old.
Not old. I just think he's losing his step. As running backs get to that time where they've had years in the league, the running back expectancy is not very long in terms of career. And I just think that he's on the later end of his career. I think he might have 1 or 2 more truly productive seasons, but I don't think he's going to reach the numbers that he did when he was on the Raiders.
How long is in his contract? Like 3-4 years?
Yeah, I mean, but running back contracts are easy to get out of in terms of dead money. Tigers are now down 3-1. Thank you, just a fan. Just like that. Well, honestly, they could if they lose this game, not going to be mad. As long as they put up a fight, I will be happy. Yeah. Already winning 1 game today. It's tough to win 2 in a doubleheader, especially when you explode offensively in one day and the other team stays so quiet. So we'll keep you updated with that from our boy Matt Bro 21. That's who I get all my Tigers news from. Shout out Broder. He is like a older brother to me on Woo. So is the rest of the Woo crew. Shout out all them. But let's keep cruising along. So we both had Gibbs in the top 4. And Alan W. brings up a good point. Not saying Gibbs should be number 1 now, but he got the potential to be. A lot of people put him above our older and injury prone, and that is a great point because he is. All those guys have injury history. Derrick Henry missed games last year. Saquon missed games last year. The CMC missed the games last year. But Gibbs did too as well. Didn't Gibbs miss 2 games, or was that Monty?
Gibbs missed like 1 game.
Yeah.
He missed like 1 game. Yeah. Because he had like a hamstring injury.
I think it's going to take him another full year to get to the bell cow level that I think everyone truly expects him to be at with his talent. I think they're going to hold him back again slightly to just keep the tread on because he's such a explosive athlete, and you want to maximize that 4-year and 5-year option on this contract so that he works for you instead of becoming a liability towards the end of his first contract.
Well, I would say with that is not the Tigers. The Lions already said, based off the end of last season, they know what they have in Gibbs now, so they know like a better idea of how they want to use them and like the ways that they're going to use them. So it's definitely going to be more production. But as far as like saying a bell cow, I don't really think that the way the league is now that really no running back is going to be like a just true bell cow. Like I think the days of like just running back being like one main running back and getting like 25 plus touches, I think those days are really going to like starting to dwindle down.
They 100%.
Yeah, no, you see most teams do running back by committee, which makes most sense because it's like, especially if you have two dynamic running backs that give you two different skill sets, like how we have in David Montgomery and Gibbs, which is why I thought people were idiots last year to be saying that David Montgomery was ass or he shouldn't be playing. Like, no, it's just he doesn't have the excitement in his game. Like, he isn't the – I always say this all the time. A lot of fans, when you talk to them, you realize they're looking for a boyfriend. Like David Montgomery isn't doing all the flashy, sexy things that you want to see out of a running back. But he's doing the nitty-gritty things that need to be done, which is why the time was split the way it was. And then once they saw the package that Gibbs was able to give them, they're like, all right, now we know the way to work the two in with each other on like a yin-yang, basically. Like
nice use
shameless
of
plug.
that.
Yeah, no, it was just like, it just worked out that way.
And I have no Nick Chubb on here because he's hurt. I don't know when he's going to come back.
I just told James, I'm like, he was like, no Nick Chubb on yours. I'm like, bro, I don't even think Nick Chubb might play another game. You saw his injury?
Yeah, his injury was bad.
Yeah, that injury was bad.
It's so hard for running backs, especially power backs who rely so much on their legs and their muscles in their legs. It's going to be really hard if Nick Chubb is able to come back. I'd love to see it, but...
No, I was going to say before that, one thing that they did bring up in the show that I wanted to ask you about is they were saying Bijan Robinson or Gibbs. Like, if we could go back and like get the same pick with those two available, would you rather?
I'd take Gibbs.
You would still take Gibbs?
Because
I was gonna say in that I said Bijan because I'm like they're the same size. Like, granted, I think Gibbs would have put it. How should I put it? All right, how Bijan started off hot last year and kind of like just got normal at near the end of the year. Teams knew what Bijan Robinson was, and they knew that he was majority of the offense. Like, the Falcons didn't have really too many like receiving options or even passing threats. They had Taylor Heinicke at quarterback, so it was easy to load the box up on Bijan. But you plug him in a system like us where he has the freedom to just he isn't facing loaded up boxes. I think he would have probably got like way more, like I won't say way more yards than Gibbs, but even playing the same amount of games with the same carries, I feel he would have definitely probably touched like close to 1,100.
I see that, and I see Bijan being more of the NFL's archetype of a bell cow running back as they so many in history have done. But I think that Gibbs with David Montgomery, Thunder and Lightning, as it's being said in chat, 100%. I think with the combo like that, I think that they complement each other way too well, where there's no reason why I'd want Bijan because I think the fit is better with Montgomery and Gibbs. And everything's about fit in the NFL, especially when it comes to offensive pieces that you can plug and play like how Ben Johnson likes to do. I think that that's so important to be able to do on a regular basis. And
Bijan or Brandon's dog said Bijan dances too much. I don't know. We must have been watching two totally different things. Bijan is very decisive with his cuts and where he's going. I'm not basing what I said off college film, Brandon. I'm basing what I said off pure just watching games. Like, I have Red Zone. I watch every game. So in that's why I said in our chat, I'm like, bro, a lot of fans seem like they just see either the highlights of other players or like just Detroit sports. I'm like, just watching a normal Bijan game, like even the gains where he would get probably just 2-3 yards, he's making the first dude miss all the time. Like, there's not just one person that is taking him down.
I do see more north-south running on Gibbs, which is surprising because I feel like Bijan is more of a power back. So I will take the other side on that. Let's keep it pushing a little bit. Let's go to the NHL, and your Panthers came back from a 3-1 deficit yesterday to win in overtime, or it was not 3-1. That was the game.
No, they won 3-2 here in overtime.
They were down. I apologize for the score, but the big key was one of the Panthers' best players picked the Rangers defenseman's pocket, and my hockey brain was killing me. I talked about it with D-Mac on the show today. Just get the puck out, hit the damn glass, and live to fight another day. But that's not the world we live in. Barkov takes the puck, goes for breakaway, takes the penalty, and then hopefully future wing, my favorite player in free agency, Sam Rattenhart, scores on that very power play. I would just love to see just a 7-game series because I think this could swing the tide 100%. I don't want to drive narratives, but this has happened to the Rangers before. They'd be up 2-1. They lose game 4. I saw a post on Rangers TikTok. They were feeling like it was a repeat of history. I'd hate to see it happen. I have the Rangers, you have the Panthers, so obviously you're on the opposite. But they brought the bang. Like I told you they needed to. They brought the bang. They matched the physicality, and they were able to pull out Game 3. Tonight, though, my Dallas Stars take on Edmonton. And I just want to touch on this real quick because it's being very, very slow under the radar. I wasn't even able to throw it in on my show today. Rope Hintz, 2 assists. And what he does to this Stars lineup is he adds such a elite piece that they were missing. That's another 60-plus point guy. I believe he's even an 80-plus point guy. He is their first-line center, and he allows them to be so even more flexible on how they decide they are going to beat you. I think you're learning a little bit. Goaltending and depth is how you win in hockey.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Because the one thing I had to watch the Altcast a little bit. The Altcast taught me a little bit too. And that was one of the other first things that I learned. There is a lot of fucking subbing in and out, like just whoom. So yeah, like you just said, if you don't have any type of depth, you're gonna end up looking at you be in the third period, got players just fucking gas, like how you see it in the Timberwolves series. So like, I would imagine it's the same thing as hockey. Like even though you're skating, like you're not running, just skating is still probably just the same exertion as running, almost, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I think because of the fact that Rope Hintz is coming back tonight, I meant to check on FanDuel, but I was curious if Vegas set a trap line on the game tonight due to the fact with Rope coming back, having that much effect, and they showed you in Game 1 of the Panthers-Rangers game that by that line that the Panthers were going to win that game.
You saying for the next? Oh, you were looking for the line for the next game?
Yeah, it's tonight. What's the line for now? You have it right
for Oilers Dallas, Stars is what you call it. The current line is plus 118 Dallas, minus 140 Edmonton.
Really? All right, that feels a little trappy, but not as trappy as I was hoping.
Current over under 6.
I was hoping for it to be more closer to even money, but that is what it is. I think Dallas will get it done. I think they're about to put Edmonton in a chokehold, and if they don't do it now, they're going to do it later. Doesn't matter when. It's Dallas by whatever way they want. Edmonton just doesn't have the depth, and Stuart Skinner with his 81% save percentage, dog shit. Civ, we'll see you later. Let's now move on to the NBA as Cat finally showed out, and you were a Cat hater in the last episode. What were your thoughts on that?
The Cat game, bro, even if the point that I tuned in, Cat was still having a bad game. Literally, I tuned in to the point where he hit the 4 threes. Like, I woke up, saw he had 7 points, tuned into the game, he hit a 3. I'm like, all right, cool. Gets to the fourth quarter, I guess he thought he was fucking Curry. But like I talked to you earlier, I'm like, yeah, that's cool that he finally had a good game getting 25, but like I just said, the brunt of it, 20 came in the second half. So it's like, granted, that is when your team needs him most. But for the most part of that second half, he was still playing shitty. He had a great fourth quarter. So caps off to him, clap him up for that. But it's too little too late. Like, you're down 3-0. No team has ever came back from 3-0 in the NBA. They've done it in other leagues, hockey, baseball. But basketball is just too much for you to try to come back from a 3-0 lead, especially playing a team like with Luka and Kyrie. Like, it's just too much. I would have loved to see him have games like this consistently throughout the series because it's like Brandon Dogs just said, would I want Cat on the Pistons? Honestly, not. For the spot that our team is at, Cat wouldn't really like be like the benefit that we would need, more so on like the, I guess, thinking wise, like what we would need in our locker room with how young our team is. Like, he would definitely be a great talent to have, but the thing with him is I don't really like Cat's consistency. Like, you'll watch Cat go for a stretch of like maybe even 3 straight 30-point games. Then you'll see Cat go for a stretch of like 4 straight games where he can't even get 20. So it's like players like that. Now after this year, he's about to be going into year 10. That's not really something I want on my team. But back to the original point, it's like too little, too late. Or I pose this question to you: do you think that if he consistently plays like this, that they would be able to come back from their 3-0 lead or from their 3-0 deficit?
3-0 deficit, no. But if he would have started to play like this earlier in the series, I could definitely have seen it. But I think that this just speaks to Cat's true nature, and he's no guy.
He's no
not
dog.
That dude. He's not that dog. And that's the issue in this series is you have 2 dogs on the other side who want to take your lunch money and they want to embarrass you while doing it. Luka and Kyrie have put on a masterclass of just showing them how to play team basketball, and they use the space like we talked about, and they make plays, and they're not unselfish. And I genuinely enjoy watching them play basketball, even though I was rooting for Minnesota. I do see why you would want him, Brandon's dog. I think
I definitely can see that.
He would pair well with Cade, because Cade needs good shooting around him to be successful, in my opinion.
He's a shooting big man, so it's like you get the plus in the pick and roll. Like, Brandon Dogs, I get exactly what you're saying of why he would be a good fit with Cade. I could see that, but it's just the player that you're getting in Cat. Like, I would more so say if we could get Cat's skill set, but pair it with Anthony Edwards' mentality, then yeah, come on to the Pistons for sure, without a doubt. But with the mindset that he has, he's just like, he wouldn't be able to like elevate this team. It seemed like he would come in and damn near like fall in line with like the order way things go. Like, he would just be like, all right, I'm getting my check. I'm gonna try to mentor them, but like.
So what about Julius Randle? Would you rather have Julius Randle?
Shit, if it come down to those two, I'm definitely picking Cat over Julius Randle.
See, I don't know. Julius Randle got that dog in him.
See, he do, but it's like he damn near got like what's the word to say, like a delusional dog in him. Like,
yeah,
Julius Randle, like at points, I think that's why the Knicks weren't able to reach their full potential until he went down. Because like,
he reminds me so much of Zach Randolph.
Yeah, no, like, and Zach Randolph was a legit
no, he was
dog.
definitely better than Julius Randle, but just like the play style, Julius Randle's. See, if Julius Randle had Zach Randolph's size, because I believe he's a little smaller on that end.
Zach Randolph was a little bit smaller. I would see if you said Julius Randle had Zach Randolph mentality. Yeah, that's for sure something right there.
Do you think that Cade is more of a point guard or shooting guard?
Point. I think Cade is more of a point guard.
I think so too. I like him as a playmaker.
I don't really see.
The turnovers is because of the high volume that he's entrusted with the ball. I think if you drop in a second person who can actually have the rock, I don't think Ivy's shown that he is a true point guard. He's more of an attacker, slasher. I think that he is your point guard, and I think that the best person for Cade is a true shooting guard.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because I was going to say, I watched a lot of Cade. Well, it wasn't a lot to watch. He only played 1 year, but the year he was in college, I watched a lot of Cade. And then even the times that he's been on the Pistons, I've seen him play, and it just, the way he plays, it would like drastically take down his production if we had him on the wing. Like the two, like, I get it because he is 6'8", that you would probably think like, oh, let's plug him at the 2 and get a true point guard. But no, if you really watch Cade play, he is almost like that true point guard.
I love that size though. It makes so much matchup nightmares when your point guard is that tall. You're seeing it. Mike Conley can't guard either of these 2 point guards.
Brandon Dogs just brought up a great signing. So we need Zach LaVine. Yes, that would be like a perfect player for like this Pistons.
I love that.
Yeah, because we don't really need bigs in like a Cat, because we got Jalen Duren, and I'm like super high on Jalen Duren. I love Jalen Duren.
That'd be an entertaining team to watch for sure. You'd have Zach LaVine and Duren rim running.
No, I definitely feel we would be in a play-in with that squad.
All right, I like that.
Add a little. We would.
You really need another free agent.
I was just about to say we would for sure need to add 2 or more, like one or two more depth pieces, but
So I'm not gonna have you say names. Well, like, what would be the archetype of some players we need? I know we need a stretch four. That is a given, but there's only so many really good stretch fours available. What are some other archetype of players and positions that you feel like would be beneficial?
The archetype of player, I actually was having this exact conversation with one of my friends, and I told him, I'm like, instead of fiending over and being horny over the top free agents like a Brandon Ingram, like the big names, the big sexy names, we need to really be more focusing on dudes on like lower end contracts, like prove it deal guys who can prove it. And then we'll come to a team like the Pistons, like, all right, I didn't really live up to expectations in my last contract, but I still know what I can do. Like, let me go to a team where I can bet on myself, maybe play to the point where like I play super good and they be able to trade me. And then I go to a team they want, or I go to a team that I originally wanted to, that's winning, and then they get a haul back for me. Or on the other hand, a player that's like, in the same situation like that, of like, all right, I didn't really work out here. Maybe like a younger guy, like, all right, I didn't really work out here, but I'm about to bet on myself and try to start something here on this team. Like, really, that's who I'm looking for, the Pistons to sign, like, prove it guys in a free agency. Like, do
you think Tobias Harris counts as a prove it guy?
No,
and you don't like that either?
I'm over on Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris has more or less years in the league than he does more.
I agree. And I think that's just, but that would be a good match for Cade. The issue is he's going to command too big of a contract for his value on the floor. I think someone's going to overpay him a bag.
Who, Tobias Harris?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and he's going to get a GM fired for sure. He's going to get some GM fired who's ever going to give him that contract.
I'd much rather do, who were we just saying? I'm blanking. I'm sorry.
What you call like a specific player? They were talking about Cat and stuff earlier, but he not like a free agent. Oh yeah, Zach LaVine. Oh yeah, most definitely Zach LaVine. Most definitely. But Zach LaVine probably gonna want more than Tobias.
Rumored Tobias only getting $20 to $25 million. I wouldn't mind that. I'd sign 20. I'd sign 23.5 would be my. I'd hit the middle. If he's asking for more than 23.5, I think he hinders the cap.
Yeah. See, the only thing with Tobias Harris that just gets me like, oh shit, like puzzled, and not even puzzled, but just like conflicted is like, yeah, he's a solid, decent player, but like I'm more so just keep looking at the point of our team and like what is really going to benefit our team for like a real move that could like make a real impact. Like I don't see Tobias Harris being a real impact move, like, and we're going to be paying a lot for him. So it's like, it just feels like another one of those like Ben Gordon type signings, or like we just spending money essentially to spend money.
And that's where we have to get out of. We keep doing that in Detroit, and we keep spending money. I mean, Javi Baez is the example that sits in front of our face at all times, and there's so many more. There's Villanueva, and there's...
You could write a laundry list.
You could, yeah. I don't even... my head's hurting even thinking about how many are rattling to my head. Do you have any idea of who you would want in this draft class, or are you just like trade the pick?
Based off what I watched in college basketball, one of my favorite players in the draft is Rob Dillingham, but I don't really see a fit for him on our team. I ain't gonna lie. Any player that's great enough, you can find a fit for them. That's how I feel about that. So, but I don't really, based off how ball dominant Rob Dillingham was in Kentucky, I don't really see him fitting our team. The other dudes they've had us slated to get is like dudes like Donovan Clingan. That'd be like a great rim protector, but like other than that, I'm not really too like.
I question Clingan because he had 2 years in college. I don't want to be the one and done, but like at the same time,
you gotta think though, he was sitting behind Sonogo last year, so he wasn't gonna go one and done.
No, I know he wasn't gonna go one and done, but it's just I think their potential stock has to drop a tiny bit if they don't come out when they're their first year. But
no, I was gonna, like, even before we got the 5th pick, I was like of the thought of like, based off the draft class, like, and based off our lottery history, I'm like, whatever pick the Pistons get, I was thinking like hopefully we would have got a top 3 for it to be like a little bit more trade value. Cause like even before I knew we got, I was thinking like trade the pick for the positions we had. Cause like Pistons have already shown they can't what you call it, fucking drafts. I was like, bro, you might as well get that bitch gone. Like, fuck it.
Yeah, I'd rather trade the pick. We don't need more young guys unless you're gonna come in and be high impact guys their freshman year. Not freshman, their rookie season in the league. If you're like someone who I was a hater of, I won't front. Keegan Murray came in and was an instant impact.
I was
on
a
the
big
Kings.
fan of Keegan Murray. I was a big fan. I wanted the Pistons to get him.
That shows how much more you know about ball because I didn't like Keegan Murray. I thought he was a choke artist at Iowa, and I wasn't high on him. And that he really showed out about how good he is, truly. He can chew, he can D it up. He was a big part of that Sacramento team. See someone like that, that's who has interest to me. I'd rather go high floor, low ceiling this draft because you just need someone who can be a stabilizing factor on this team. There's no one who's a real stabilizing factor.
No, that's a good way to put it. Like, there's really, like, I mean, other than Cade, but for when a team just needs, like, a bucket, there's, like, really nobody we can go to other than Cade. And Keegan Murray is, like, a player that's, like, perfect for almost everything. Like, I was definitely high on him, like, way above Ivy. Like, I literally, that draft before it happened, I was like, Keegan Murray. I'm like, if we got to get Ivy, okay. But, like, Keegan Murray for our team, especially with Cade, this would have, like solved so much confusion. Like, maybe even Killian Hayes may still be in the league if we had Keegan Murray. Who knows?
Okay, also,
Brandon Dogs. Oh, bro, it's so crazy that you just – I'm so sorry, Justin. It's crazy that you brought up Shaedon Sharpe because that's who my top two were. I said Keegan Murray or Shaedon Sharpe, but I didn't really like Shaedon for the position or the pick that we had. 5th pick, I thought that was kind of too high. But I was a big fan of Shaedon and Keegan over Jaden Ivey.
And I'd like to throw this out there because I think this is actually really interesting. So this actually came out about a week ago, but I've not heard anyone talk about it. And I'm not saying I agree or I don't even know how to say what I'm about to say. But the Josh Giddey situation's a mess, and I don't want to touch on that situation at all. But I do want to touch on where they think his next team's going to be. Because we are the 6th ranked candidate to land Josh Giddey, tied for 5th.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
I really don't know what to think about that.
How about just basketball? Just make sure.
No, I'm thinking pure basketball. That's why I'm like, I really don't know what to think about that. Because it's like, with Josh Giddey, like, I ain't gonna lie. Granted,
shout out Maz. Peace out,
yeah,
Maz.
definitely shout out Maz. Granted, his skill set, I could see a fit with our team, but what you call it? Honestly, could see him fitting better than Jaden Ivey because he would be able to be that player that when what you call it? A lot of the games when I saw early in the season, they just start double teaming Cade. Cause a lot of teams realize like, oh, the Pistons don't have shit else but Cade, so he could be one of those players that like how he could be in like I won't say in the Draymond spot of like a dunker spot, but he could be in that like if you peep. A lot of the teams now, like when their point guard gets double teamed, they had a little middle spot to where that's where the offense starts to get initiated. And he would be perfect for a spot like that when Cade is getting double teamed because he knows how to facilitate as well to the other players. So that definitely would be
I'd have to agree. And I also want to touch on Draymond Green because he's also another guy who's been heavily rumored to Detroit. What do you think about that? I know it's not the most appealing option, but I will say I think it would do some good.
Dude, I think, bro, Draymond literally said himself he only got like 2 years left in the league. So if he could come and like mentor our players and like help bring an identity to our players, like in those 2 years that he do got left in the tank, come on, fuck it. Draymond, I will tell you though, please don't expect no fat ass contract from us. Like that would make me say hell no to bringing in Draymond.
Oh yeah, it would have to be a good team friendly deal. Maybe not team friendly, but just not through the roof. I'm not paying Draymond a king's ransom in no regard at all.
Yeah, no.
I wanna move into something else real quick because I I really want to. Trying to think of how I want to say what I'm trying to say, because I want to set it up the right way. If you were the new PBO, and there's all this talk coming in about how your owner won't spend money and or he just spends it on bullshit. How do you come in and just blanket all those things and make a fan base believe in you? Because I think that's such a difficult thing to do.
The easiest way to make a fan base believe in you, we see it with Brad Holmes, is you just win. That's literally all. That's like the simplest answer. You just have to win for a fan base to believe in you. Like, you could do the fucking dumbest, wonkiest shit to them, but as long as you're winning, they don't give a fuck. Like, if you look at it, prime example, people thought Brad Holmes took a terrible pick with drafting Gibbs. What he got drafted, 12th or 13th? I can't remember the exact number. But
12.
Yeah, they thought that was the most retarded fucking pick ever. Then they saw he was cold. They thought Sadler Porter was a bad pick. Saw he was cold and saw we were winning. And then they were like, oh, Brad Holmes is a genius. So it's like, literally all he's going to have to do is, like, even if he makes smart signings and smart moves, if those moves don't lead to winning, it's going to be hard for the fan base to believe him, because that's the only way a fan base can believe you is winning. But in that, I would say one of his first moves, I would tell everybody that's, like, coming into a situation like the Pistons, if you get hired in, like, relating it back to the Pistons or the Lions, you have to clear house. Like, anything that's associated, like, I'm a big believer in vibes and energy. Like, anything associated with that bad energy, that bad vibes, like, you can't even, like, even if you coming in with a whole different mindset, a whole different thought of regime that you want to bring in, if you got your GM still linked to the old thinking of the old president of basketball operations and still harnessing his, like, vibes of, like, a person that didn't work with you or has never worked with you, it's like you get a conflicting almost, like you get a constant budding. Like, that's a perfect way to describe it. It feels like it's going to be a constant budding. So I would say just clear house. We don't really have any bad contracts on our books, so that's like a big plus to him. But he will have some hard decisions to make with the fact that Cade contract, his rookie contract, I think is up this year. So he's definitely stepping into a hard decision.
I definitely agree, and I think that it will take time, as Alan W. put it.
Yeah, I was just about to
no, I cannot go in and save the role of PBO. So I'm sorry to give you that bad news, but I would like Cade, president of basketball operations, Noah, and I would like to see. What do you think about Clay? Because I like that. I mean, I would have. He's declining. There's no doubt about that. I'm not signing him long term. But in terms of getting some true shooting around Cade to hopefully let Cade blossom, I do like that. The issue is you can't play Ivy, Clay, and Cade at the same time.
Yeah, I would say if Clay was coming here, I would imagine that's in a world where we trading away Ivy. So if we could do that and get a nice haul back, because I don't like the way it's so confusing with the fucking Pistons, because we suck so bad right now. Like, we're fucking terrible. So it's like, all right, bro, like, what's the deal? My bad. I had to shout out Mook real quick. But we so fucking terrible right now. Like, that's like almost any move we're making, unless it's like a move to bring in fucking Steph Curry or LeBron James, we're going to still be at the bottom for a while. So it's like, I'm more so like, the way I would look at it, I'm not really worried with free agents this year. Like, either get free agents through trades or trading that pick. But other than that, I'm not really too pressed on us, like, trading for, like, or signing a super big free agent. I should say that. I'm more so, let's focus on signing some free agents right now to focus on, like, building that team, getting closer to play in. Then when you get to that point, that's when I would say, if you want to, if you didn't build up to the point through the draft and other free agent moves to the point where you could be close to making it for the playoffs or in the play-in or the playoffs, then if you close to that play-in spot or that budding, like, that 6 seed position, that's when you can start looking at, all right, what big name free agent do we need to bring into our team? That's why that's why it's like, any big name with the Pistons right now, like, Clay wouldn't even really want to come here. Like,
Yeah,
going from Oakland, California or Santa Cruz, wherever the fuck, Santa Clara, California to Detroit on a losing 14-win team, like.
No, and that makes sense, and I get that 100%. But there has to be a point where the rebuild has to bring in good players. When Texas Rangers brought in Corey Seager, they were a bottom-tier team. They were 5th in the ALS. They were 60 and 120. They had a terrible season. And they brought in Corey Seager, they brought in Simeon, and then all of a sudden it started to work, and then a couple years later they won the World Series. You have to start somewhere. And I'm going to take that starting somewhere and go to something that's already been started and been cooking, which is Brad Holmes, because I want to talk about spend mo racks. Spencer, who we're about to be done, and you guys are going to go back to your normal scheduled programming with heavyweights, because they are the GOATs. Shout out heavyweights, shout out Easy, shout out Nick, shout out Chris. But Spenny brought up a great point last night, and it's about the corners. Carlton Davis is not going to be asked to guard speedy guys. Speedy receivers are Carlton Davis' kryptonite. Tank Dell shit on Carlton Davis last year, and that was the point where, Carlton Davis won't be a CB1. Well, he's not going to have to guard guys like that. You have Amik Robinson for that. And I want to know, what is your take on how good and how well we match up in terms of archetype corners against archetype receivers?
I would say that's more so scheming. Because I was just about to say, when you said Tank Dell killed Carlton Davis, it's more so like, if you look at the way Houston play, it's just like a lot of schemed up routes. So yeah, I know what game you're talking about. That was late in the year. I can't even remember who won that game. The Bucks won that game, didn't they?
No, I think Houston did.
But it was close. It was close for the most part. I do remember.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. It was just a back and forth all the way to the end. But I'm not worried at all with like how our corners match up with anybody in the league. Other speed wise, when it comes to that archetype, other than the only one I would be worried with is Tyreek Hill. But even still, I'm not too worried. But I would say more so, we have a versatility in corner. Like, we don't have just all man coverage corners. Like, we got man coverage corners, we got nickel corners, we got like Brian Branch. Brian Branch can be in the nickel, and Brian Branch can also play safety. So it's like, if you look at our whole secondary as a totality, like, I feel we're covered on every basis, especially if we get Emmanuel Mosley and can come back and even just give us fucking 60% of what he was before the 2 ACL injuries. Like, if he can even give us 60%, fuck it. I'm not even going to expect that much. If he can give us 45% of that, I think our depth would be, like, out of this world, like, especially at the DB spot. Because we still got Melifonwu in the back, fucking Kirby Joseph in the back. Like, so that's why I'm more so, like, these are the years of, like, how you talked about in one show, like, Kirby Joseph was there for the cleanup almost every time. Now you have corners that's not going to really, like, make him have to be there for the cleanup.
That half second where he can sit back there instead of coming forward and having to make up for ground for someone is going to be so big for him just prospering on this roster.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And I think the rest of the defenses too. You say top 7, I say top 10 for sure. I don't know if I'm ready to go top 7 yet, but I could definitely see that. No doubt. The Lions hype train has left the station. But we're going to wrap things up. Thank you so much for tuning in to our first live show. We are going to be live almost every day for sure. Shout out Alan,
Jay
Cruisin, Ryan, Noah, Brandon's dog, Just a Fan, everyone who's been in chat today.
Yeah,
you guys
shout out
make this possible. You guys
where else?
Pushed us to make this live so that we could interact with y'all, because you guys make this thing go. You guys, thank you so much for being here.
Did we shout out Just a Fan?
Yeah, I shout out Just a Fan.
Yeah, no,
I will have a Red Wings topic for tomorrow. I will have a.
Oh, tell them the time.
Tomorrow it will be the same time. We're gonna go between 4:15 to 5 o'clock again, right into heavyweights.
Like a layover. That's
low key. Might try to start at 4:10 to give us a little bit more time. If that's okay with Joel, it all depends on how quickly he finishes E&E. You guys are the absolute best. Also, we'll have a contract topic on why it's so much better that we paid Amon-Ra when we did than later. And Joel, take us out.
Peace, y'all. Love y'all for tuning in, and